Hello my loves, it's Brit, and today in this video I'm going to talk about the moon in Pisces and what it's like to have your natal moon in Pisces, or if you're wondering about your moon in Pisces friends or lovers. And I'm sure many people are wondering about these guys. What an undertaking it is to talk about this placement. Anything in the sign of Pisces is always very hard to pin down, and having many potential expressions. So the moon in Pisces is no different, and the moon representing our inner emotional world, how we truly feel on the inside, our deepest part of ourselves, our feminine selves. For men, representing qualities that they may project onto a woman as a wife, their ideal image of wife and woman, and just our emotional habitual patterns from childhood, from our subconscious, or even past lives if you want to go that deep. So with the moon in Pisces, we have a very, very sensitive soul, and I'm sure even if you just know some of the basic characteristics of Pisces, you would be able to pinpoint that these people are extremely sensitive and extremely impressionable. I feel like this moon sign, more than any others, has this tendency to just kind of become one with their environment at all times. So this can be very dangerous. This is something to definitely take note of, is with these people and their sensitivity, they need to make sure that they have a clear idea of their own intentions and others' intentions, and not just allowing themselves to be pulled into all these different scenarios. Like the big one with Pisces energy that we always want to be aware of course, is the addictive and escapist tendencies, right? So for the people with moon in Pisces, it's really, really dangerous to be around drugs, alcohol, and addictive people and tendencies, because they can easily get swept up into that. And this placement is common for drug addicts, alcoholics, sex addicts, like addicts of anything really, because they so easily just get pulled into whatever their environment is. So it's the moon of peer pressure, really. So we want to make sure that we have good associations with all Pisces placements, but especially the moon, because it represents our emotions and our inner self. So these people really, they're more sensitive than Pisces suns. They're very impressionable. So that is something to be aware of. And I, personally, I don't drink or do drugs at all, but I have Saturn in Pisces. So that's been a lesson I've had to learn, and that's a lesson that a lot of people with Pisces energy have to learn. And the thing with this placement too, though, is if that lesson is learned, it is common for these people to have a drug and alcohol addiction or a past with that, but once they've overcome that, they actually can be really great at helping other people to overcome that as well. We can see this placement in therapists and counselors and like drug and alcohol counselors or whatever, because they really have been there. They can really feel for you, and even if they haven't personally done it themselves, they have compassion for those who do. So that's another thing that we could see with this placement, is huge compassion for the underdog and for the suffering of humanity. Like, this is the person that, I'm just imagining, you're driving down that worst street in your town or city where there's maybe homeless people and suffering and drugs and, people that are just so lost, right? And the moon in Pisces person is literally crying for them, right? And we can see this also with moon in Cancer, where they just literally can cry at the drop of the hat, and they truly feel for people. There's no snobbiness or looking down on another. They are truly able to empathize, and they truly do want to help people. But the thing that sometimes happens with Pisces energy as well, and with the moon in Pisces, is that they have so many of their own emotional problems, and relationship problems because of their own inability to see things clearly, that they spend their lives, or much of their lives, just sorting themselves out, or maybe even being more selfish, when truly they have a gift for helping people and being that compassionate ear, and they would really do well to be in the helping professions as far as like emotional healing goes, and being healers, and truly having that sensitivity to other people. But they get so caught up in their own emotional mess that they never get to this place. So what I would really recommend for these people, and it's funny, so I'm raising a Moon in Pisces son, my only son. He has Moon in Pisces conjunct Neptune, and like that sensitivity is so strong. And also, I mean, look at his mom, right? So the moon for men can represent the mom, and the moon in general can represent your image of your mother and what she was like. So I think for my son, obviously me being spiritual and being a healer and being, into all of this is very helpful for him, but also maybe that is just what is shown by that placement for him. So yeah, I think raising Moon and Pisces children, knowing their sensitivity, being sensitive to their emotions as well, because they're going to be emotional, they're going to be up and down, they're going to get in an environment and just not want to be there, being shy, right? And now Dougie, my son, he's kind of overcome that shyness, and he's more social now, but at the beginning, yeah, he was just very cautious. And so this placement can show huge shyness, and the shyness is not rooted from like necessarily an insecurity per se, but it's more that they're more insecure at how much they feel, because they can walk into a room and just totally pick up that whole energy. So if there's been anger, if there's been fighting, I would recommend as a Pisces Moon individual to not be around a lot of violence, or watching a lot of scary movies or things like that, because they're just going to take that all in, right? And it's going to upset them emotionally. And the thing with Moon and Pisces too is that it's so fluctuating. It's so like, they might think that they're like crazy or something, when really they just actually need to be in like a calmer, meditative environment where they can have peace, right? Like this is the kind of placement I would recommend having peaceful music on regularly, or just having music on that you enjoy. And the other thing with this placement is that these are the natural musicians and artists. Like I swear my son will be a musician. Like he's like so musical. He loves my guitars. He loves playing on this keyboard. And he's just, yeah, he's so musical. But yeah, so these people have a natural gift for music, for art. And it really comes from that sensitivity, because they're so connected with, to me, like, because I'm such a spiritual person, these people are just naturally connected with God. They're connected with that universal intelligence, right? If they're left and to be in their own devices and to, really have that meditative time and be in a peaceful environment. Otherwise, they could be connected to, the opposite, like the negativity of the world, and get sucked into all of the pain and suffering and be depressed, right? But if they're given ample time for solitude in a peaceful environment in nature with music on, these people can be the most spiritually connected, the most connected to God, the most connected to their soul out of anyone, and that potential is there. With Pisces energy, there's always that, like the dual nature of being like the angel or the devil, right? So that's just something to be aware of with this placement, is that you can go either way, and it's up to you, what do you want your life to be, right? Rather than getting pulled into everybody else's drama, or the drama of your childhood. That's another thing too with Moon and Pisces, is that you can find that they have this tendency to constantly talk about their emotional problems, and sometimes talk about the same things over and over again. Like when they haven't healed, it's like they just constantly are pulling you into this vortex of their emotions, right? And so for me, when I see that, it's like I send them healing, I send them love, because yeah, they truly need to process that, and sometimes communicating, that's not actually what processes an emotion, right? Because we can talk about the same painful, traumatic childhood event over and over and over again. It's not going to actually heal it until we bring in some energy and actually are ready to let that go, right? And do some type of deep healing with it, either hypnosis or, something else that gets onto a deeper level. And so these people likely need something like that to just get out of that looping of the emotion, right? So there's that tendency to be stuck in the childhood, right? To have something that's happened in the childhood and they just keep going back to it and they keep talking about it and kind of being emotionally stuck. Of course, that would be a negative manifestation that's not going to be seen in everybody, but it's something that I have seen with these people. And I don't want this placement to sound negative. It's truly like with Pisces energy, we can be the highest of the high or the lowest of the low. And so that's the nature of the duality of Pisces, is that they can really be anything. And, they can be super shy or they can be super social. It just depends what day you're with them on, right? Because they are kind of going to match whatever's around them and whatever they're feeling and whatever's going on in their environment. So they can truly be anything. I mean, it's not a fixed sign where it's more straightforward, like, oh, this Leo moon is going to have these qualities and express those qualities. Like, that's pretty obvious. That's pretty normal. That's pretty natural that we're going to see, Leo moon or Scorpio moon people acting like this, although Scorpio moon can be a bit of a mystery. But with Pisces moon, it's like, it's harder to describe because they truly can be anything. It just, what mood are they in, right? So, I mean, that I'd like to keep this description open to possibility, because with these guys, I mean, there's so many potentials, there's so many possibilities, and that's the beauty of Pisces energy, is that they can truly be whatever they choose to be. And I mean, it's also going to be shown by the aspects that the moon is making. Are there difficult aspects? Are there positive aspects, right? And then the nature of the whole chart as well, how this is going to be expressed and what they choose to be. For me, I would look at the North Node, I would look at Jupiter, I'd look at the Sun and see, what kind of person are they? Who do they really want to be? And then not let this emotional moon hinder that, but actually allow this emotional moon to help them manifest it and to help them embody that emotional quality of the true higher self personality that they want to be. What else do I want to say? Yeah, musicians, artists, but not limited to that. Like I said, they can be whoever they want to be. Very kind, naturally. Like, this is not a judgmental person. This is not someone who you have to worry about introducing someone to them and having them be like, oh, that person sucked. Or like, how, certain Virgo types, you introduce them to someone and they have all this crap to say, right? Like Virgo or Capricorn types are more judgmental, or even like Gemini or something. But with a moon in Pisces, you can introduce them to anyone and they're going to have positive things to say. But that can also be dangerous because their perceptions of people can be very off. They can see just what they want to see. And they do have a tendency to love everybody, love more than one person, be confused around love because of this tendency to romanticize and maybe not see the person as they truly are. But at a higher level, once they have some self-awareness and they have some awareness of the kind of relationship that they actually do want, I truly feel, and some people would disagree with this, but I truly feel that the moon in Pisces can be very loyal to someone and a very deep lover because they romanticize that person so much. That can actually be a good thing, right? When we have Moon-Neptune aspects, or we have a moon in Pisces, that can actually end up being one of the true romantics and the true lovers of life. And so when you are able to love someone as their soul and truly see their beauty, even if it's not entirely realistic, that can make a love last, because we're not going to have this tendency to think, well, the grass is greener somewhere else. Although maybe Moon and Pisces can feel that because they can love more than one person at the same time. But when they use that energy to truly just love their person, they can be the most beautiful lovers in your life because they just truly love as their soul. They love you as a parent loves their child, right? Like it's just totally unconditional. And there can be kind of a negative tendency to want to save people and help them. Like, we want to be aware with this placement to not interfere with others' own karma, right? There can be this tendency of Pisces Moon to want to pick someone up and fix them, right? The fixers, but that does not really work, and that can cause much emotional suffering as Pisces Moon feels that they're always helping others, and then it ends up causing more emotional drama, and they don't need any more than they've already got with this placement. They don't need to take on another's. They have their own emotions to already deal with. So yeah, what else? I think that's probably all I'm going to say in this video. It's already getting kind of long. I'm surprised. I wasn't sure how I was going to put words to this nebulous moon, but I have. So yeah, my beautiful son has this placement, and I'll see more of how it manifests. He's only almost 3 now, but I'll see more of how it manifests as he grows up and I get to raise him. So I'm sure that for this, there could be a part 2 as I find out more. But yeah, I hope this is helpful. I hope it wasn't too negative. I hope I've said enough positive things about you guys as well. But I mean, when we have moon and water sign, moon in Cancer is kind of the most natural placement, but it can still be difficult. I feel like the moon and water signs, it can still be quite difficult because, I mean, it's just so emotional. And in our society, like in the way that we're set up here on this planet, it's becoming more normalized now to like feel and process emotions and heal and you know, do self-work, but that hasn't been like so normal up until this point. So it's hard to be an emotional person on this planet. And so I just want to send all the love to my moon and Pisces people. I relate to you. I have my moon in conjunct with Neptune and in conjunct with Saturn and Pisces in my 12th house. So it's not the same at all, but it's got a little bit of that kind of flair. So I feel that I understand you guys, and I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll do some more videos soon, maybe today. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one session with me, I have my links there in the description, and I do offer astrology sessions. I offer 2 types. One is a personal natal chart soul purpose reading, and the other is a synastry reading of your relationship, karmic, soulmate bond, showing all the aspects, and yeah, really, really fun stuff. Okay, love you guys. Talk soon.